Hello, I'm Mia. I started up this channel 3 years ago, but I only ever made 2 videos. But I'm thinking of starting again, and I'm thinking of posting on quite a few issues I'm passionate about. What made me think of starting it again was a chat that I took part in with with a campaigner, Johnny Benjamin. They took part in a web chat. I took part in a web chat uh, on Rethink, and I just thought that I could start doing vlogs. I think he suggested it to a few people that they could do vlogs, and I thought I'd post about that sort of, about things like mental health and raising children and human rights and other things that I'm passionate about. I mean, a few of you might already know me and the things I'm into. Um, but yeah, I think and I want to focus on things that are sort of more unusual and less spoken about. So like in mental health, for example, I want to look at things that maybe things people haven't thought of, and just sort of I mean, I have quite a few unusual issues which a lot of people may never have thought about, and I think there will be lots of other people who have those issues as well. But I think that because a lot of issues are not spoken about, I think it makes it harder for people to talk about them. So I'm wanting to speak about the sort of less usual issues, and less spoken about issues, because I think that getting them spoken about will help. That'll sort of help others talk about any issues they have. So I think I'll sort of what I'll ask is, if anyone wants to post about any issues they consider to be unusual, just post them below. And I mean, for me, I think that there's nothing too unusual that, or too, what some people might call weird. Um, I think that there's nothing that, whatever you say you've got, whatever issue you feel you may have, I don't think that says anything about the person. For example, with me, I have issues with nudity, like undressing in front of others, and I've written a blog about how that affects me. And I think I'll post it below. I'll post it in the description, actually, so you can have a look at that. But I will sort of say that it is very hard-hitting and some people might find it controversial. But I think even if that is the case, one shouldn't worry about what people think. If it's something that's bothering them, it is something that it's something that they should be able to talk about, because I think a lot of time, a lot of things sort of are seen as controversial, and so people just don't talk about it because they think, what will people think if I admit to having this issue. Another one that I've got is I've got a phobia of plants, and I also have I've got a phobia of ivy, which means that I will, if I'm out walking and there's too much ivy, I will have I will just find another route. And a lot of people uh, have thought that weird, although not so much now, or maybe it's just that I'm not affected by it so much. But I think I'm just sort of, and I actually, when I was a child, it affected me more because, like when adults took me for a walk, they didn't take into account my phobia. So like if I went through woods, sort of um, it affected me a lot more. But as I got older, and I was bullied at school, and when children found out about it, they used to chase me with ivy. I mean, I think that was down to the staff because they used to encourage bullying, not just with that, but generally. Um, but I think that, yeah, I mean, sort of, whatever the children did, they were children, and the adults should have spoken to them about, well, they should have sort of educated them as to how that sort of thing can affect a person. Um, but yeah, I think. But as I grew older, I sort of found that actually I can avoid that, and a lot of people would say that, oh, you're taking the easy way out, but I actually feel that I don't. I think, why would I put myself under the stress of sort of exposing myself to sort of, I would find the process of getting rid of the phobia to be very stressful, and I think I'd find it traumatic as well. And I think it's not that difficult to avoid, and I think that I know that a lot of things like that, people will say, oh, it's taking the easy way out, but I think I'm actually happier um, through having not taken therapy for that phobia, because for me, I focus more on talking about the past and things that have happened with me. Um, yeah, and yeah, I think sort of whatever um, issue or phobia or anything you may have, they shouldn't be ashamed to talk about it. Because I mean, there was a time when uh, we just didn't used to talk about. I mean, people used to say, "Oh, sort of." They would suggest that it's not something you should admit to having, or. But as I've grown older, I think there is no shame in saying you have a phobia of ivy or saying you've got issues with nudity. I mean, there might be as far as society is concerned, but there shouldn't be. And whatever phobia or issue you may have, just um, it is okay to talk about it, even in certain circles. If you don't, I mean, you might not feel like you want to talk about it with certain people, but I mean, there's a lot of support on the social network, although I mean, there are people who still find it difficult to understand some of my issues. I won't pretend that everyone just gets what I say, and there are still people who might think you should sort of uh, they might think that it's sort of it might be better to confront whatever issues you may have, but a lot of the people I know online are pretty supportive, even if they don't understand or agree with um, with what it is I'm trying to say, but I think that, I mean, feel free to comment below, because, I mean, I will understand sort of just about any issues people might want to talk about. And I'm thinking of I'm going to be speaking a bit about some of my personal issues on here as well, and I thought I would also. I know that a lot of people probably think of me as a negative person, because I do talk a lot about my childhood, which I consider to have been an abusive one. Although, yeah, but I think so, and I think there's some people might think, oh, don't sort of paint yourself, don't think of yourself as a victim, but I think it's important to say how to talk about your experience as you see it, and I think if you've had negative experiences, I think talking about them doesn't make you a negative person. And I think actually, to me anyway, what I consider worse, and I mean, I think everyone has to deal with things how they wish, but how they see fit. But I think actually not talking about things can actually make things worse, uh, and like feeling you shouldn't talk about them. Um, but I'm also thinking on this channel of singing a few songs on here as well, because I like singing, although I've lost a bit of confidence, because I do try to sing in a higher pitch because I'm transgendered, and I've become quite self-conscious about how female my voice sounds. But I'm planning on singing it a bit as well, just so people can see another side to my personality. Uh, and I mean, uh, like sort of a more upbeat side to my personality, because I mean, although I may come across negative, I'm not all doom and gloom. Uh, but yeah, as I say, feel free to post any sort of issues you may have, and I think I'll also talk in my video again about how I feel those issues came about, like how I developed mental health issues, and how I think certain things are within me. Um, and I will link that blog that I told you about, that I spoke about as well, um, below. But I will warn again that it is very hard-hitting and controversial. And yeah, but I think I'll end this video now. Okay, this is Mia, and thanks for watching.